Which is the best touring motorcycle that you can get right now? Let's get into it. Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notifications bell for all future videos. And check out the website RevelatorAlf.com for all the latest biking news and specs. So this video is all about touring capable motorcycles, which is the best that you can get right now. Now, recently I saw a video from another channel that were talking about Harley-Davidson Street Glide and the amount of hate that they got, or criticism that they got in the comments on that motorcycle, whether people like Harley-Davidsons or not. I mean, that's a separate issue. But the counter argument was mainly around the looks of the bike, how it looks and how it sounds, and you're arriving at your destination and people will turn their heads to look at this Street Glide and say what a glorious bike it is. And that seemed to be the basis of the valuation of that motorcycle as a really good tourer. Now, that's a perfectly acceptable metric, of course. How your bike looks, or how you believe your bike looks, is a really important factor, and all these things are completely subjective. But let's just take Harley-Davidson Street Glide as an example as a touring motorcycle. Is it the best on the market? Well, even within the Harley-Davidson community, many would say, well, actually, no, it isn't the best touring motorcycle. It isn't the best motorcycle at all. Many others would favor the Road Glide. Many would favor actually not the Road Glide Special or the Street Glide Special. They'd either go to the Ultra Limited, which is the Street Glide with a top box, let's say, or the Road Glide Limited, again, Road Glide with a top box, or the CVO Road Glide Limited. Conversely, many would say, actually, let's step away from the tourers with the big fairing and come back to just a naked bike. A tourer, which would be the Road King Special, or even lighter now with the Softails and the Heritage Classic, or the Lowrider ST, or even something like mine, which is the Sport Glide, which many would consider as a great all-round bike, touring capable, but light enough to do short journeys and also riding around town. But does the looks alone make a bike the best touring motorcycle? Okay, so the argument in this video, and as I say, this is from Darcy and the Old Man channel, really good channel if you like motorcycle reviews and all that kind of thing. But if we're just talking about looks alone, then just because something looks good doesn't necessarily mean that it is a great motorcycle in general or a great tourer. Now, some references were also made to the Honda Goldwing and also the BMW K1600. Now, I've been looking at these bikes and say I've been looking at a lot of touring motorcycles recently, doing a lot of research, and to see which is the best. Now, again, these are purely subjective points. But let's just look at the Harley-Davidson. Obviously, you've got the Road Glide, the Street Glide, and the Ultra Limited or the Road Glide Limited, and the CVO, as I say. Then, obviously, you can look at the Softails with some kind of touring capability that's got boxes on the side. Now, if you're still looking at those classic lines, let's say, you could go over to the Indian motorcycles with their Challenger, the Chieftain, the Pursuit, the Roadmaster. All of these bikes have that kind of traditional feel to them. The way the engines are on display, the way the geometry, the styling, all lends itself to that kind of heritage look. If we go to BMW now on that heritage line, if you like, on the touring motorcycles, well, they got the R18. The R18 with, you could have the bagger, or you could also have the full touring package with the Transcontinental. All very nice too. But again, it's down to what you like. If we're getting into more of an all-round touring capability, then you're really kind of stepping away from tourers for the road, and you're really looking at big adventure bikes. And that's why they've become so popular over the last few years, because they kind of do everything in one package. Now, I'm going to make another video what I consider to be the best adventure bike or large adventure bike now, but for now you could say, well, let's just put those out of the way for now, but you can't ignore them as the best touring motorcycle, because they are part of the equation. But if we're just talking about road-focused, traditional style touring motorcycles, it's kind of slim pickings when you're moving away from Harley-Davidson and Indian. Then you've got BMW, You've got a couple of bikes from Honda, which is the Goldwing, of course, which is the big leviathan of a motorcycle, and then you've got that other touring option, which is the NT1100. If you're looking towards Yamaha, they've got the Tracer 9 GT or the GT Plus. Kawasaki have kind of moved away from traditional traditional tourers, where they used to have the GTR 1400, which was a great motorcycle in its day. And now they've got the H2, which is a high-performance supercharged sports tourer, and you can have side boxes on it as well. But you can't have a top box because it's just too powerful to have a top box on it. So you can only have side boxes on it. So it's kind of a sports tourer, but it's kind of, again, moving away from a traditional touring motorcycle. Suzuki don't make a touring motorcycle anymore. They've got the adventure bike, the V-Strom, of course, but they don't really have a touring option. Ducati, they don't really have a touring option apart from the Multistrada, which is more ADV than touring. But again, great all-round touring option. And now Ducati for 2024 are bringing out the purpose touring option for the Ducati Multistrada. Now Yamaha, as I say, they've got the Tracer 9 GT and the GT Plus, but they did away with their heavyweight touring option, which was the FJR 1300. Many would swear by that, and I would kind of lend my voice to those cries as well. That's what Kawasaki, Suzuki and Yamaha are kind of missing here, that big heavyweight touring option or sports touring option. Yamaha had the FJR, Kawasaki had the GTR. Now back in the day, Honda had their Blackbird, which was a hyper sports tourer, but they've all gone now. All that's left really are the traditional heavyweight tourers, and there's not many of them about. So which is the best? So you could either go for looks, which is the BMW R18 Transcontinental or the Bagger. You're going towards the Harley-Davidsons, which are, you know, beautiful machines, but are they necessarily the best? You're going for Indian, which is kind of like for like in terms of Harley-Davidson, but many would say that they are technologically better than Harley-Davidsons. But then you move away completely and you go to the BMW option, the K1600 or the R1250 RT. Both are fantastic touring options, and they really are great touring motorcycles. And I would probably put them at the overall top in terms of capability. Now, again, looks are subjective, and I would say the RT probably looks better than the K1600 when it's got the side boxes and the top box on and the seated position, but overall they're both great looking motorcycles. Then you're coming on to the Honda Goldwing, which is just a huge motorcycle, and that really is beauty in the eye of the beholder if you believe that is a great touring motorcycle. See, with the latest Honda Goldwings, they really did move away from the traditional Honda Goldwing Tourer, which many would say that is the optimal touring motorcycle. The way it rode, the boxes, the top box, the seating position, the comfort, that is only really being taken up now by BMW, Indian and Harley-Davidson. The rest have all flitted away, and even Honda with their Goldwing, it's kind of moved away from what that motorcycle used to be. I remember seeing footage of test riders taking the Goldwings around a test track, and the way they were throwing that bike around was just amazing. Now, this is not to say that the latest Honda Goldwing isn't of the same ilk or even better. I'm sure it is, but it's a different vibe, it's a different style, and it certainly is a different riding experience. So which is the best? Which is the best touring motorcycle on the market right now? Well, again, if we kind of ignore the style, which we can't really, because that's all part of owning a motorcycle or buying a motorcycle, and certainly choosing a motorcycle. You've got to like the bike that you're wanting to buy, or you're favoring one over another. But if we kind of separate the style away from the function, then you're really talking about technology, and you're really talking about how it rides on the road, and is it going to be good for the long haul, and whether it's going to be good in terms of performance, two-up riding, all those kinds of things. So really then you're talking about liquid cooled versus air cooled, which is going to be the best option there. So let's say BMW, for example, you've got the 6-cylinder K1600, obviously it's a liquid cooled engine, but then you've got the R1250 RT with the air cooled engine. However, that is getting an upgrade with the liquid cooled heads as well. Harley-Davidson, of course, with their new CVO, they've followed suit as well. So all these manufacturers are morphing, and they're improving their technology even upon old designs. So which is the best? Harley-Davidson, Indian, BMW, Honda. Got to separate style from function, and the way these bikes ride, and also how expensive they are to buy, and also how expensive they are to maintain. And let's not forget here, it's not only about how you buy a motorcycle if it's brand new, for example, and how that is going to be worked on or serviced or taken care of over the next sort of 2 or 3 years. But let's say when it gets a little bit older, how easy is it for you as an owner rider to work on these things at home and just do the basic maintenance? So let's just say a BMW, for example, if you take the R1250 RT, well, the cylinders are sticking out, just like on the R18s. It's very easy to do basic headwork, spark plug changes, valve adjustments, oil changes, that kind of thing. If you take the K1600, actually that becomes quite an involved job. Lots of components need to be taken off to be able to do basic servicing on that motorcycle. Same with the Honda Goldwing. Harley-Davidson's very simple. Indians, very simple in that regard. Basic maintenance becomes very, very simple. So which is the best? If you're talking about overall performance and technology, then you've got to be looking towards something like a Honda Goldwing. You've got to be looking at something like a BMW K1600 R1250 RT for overall advances in technology. You could look at Yamaha and a Kawasaki for sort of sports touring or ADV bikes, let's say with the Ducati. You could look at a BMW GS. You could look at the Africa Twin from Honda, the Suzuki V-Strom, the Kawasaki Versys. All these bikes, as I've said, from the AVD sort of style, are great all-round touring motorcycles, and that's why they've become so popular, because many people believe they are a better touring option. But if we're talking about the best motorcycle tourer right now, then Harley-Davidson and Indian lead the way in terms of that traditional styling, but they don't lead the way in terms of technology. The problem with technology, and we know this, and I've had this experience myself in terms of technology failing, that everything is great when that technology is working. But when it starts to fail, that's when you have problems. However, with more simple bikes, even though Harley-Davidsons, let's say, have advanced, they're still relatively simple in terms of the amount of technologies on there. When that starts to fail, then a more basic bike is actually a better option. So it depends what you want in a motorcycle and what you favor. 1, style, but 2, overall performance. And then it could be about servicing, home maintenance, which is going to be the best option. But if we're talking about heavyweight tourers, then there's only a few options available to you now: the Harley-Davidson, the Indian, the BMW, and the Honda Goldwing. Everything else is either decreasing in size or it's moving towards an all-round capable adventure bike or adventure style bike. Let us know in the comments below which you believe is to be the best touring motorcycle on the market right now. Is it the Harley-Davidson, the Street Glide? Is it the Road Glide? Is it the Ultra Limited, the Road Glide Limited? Is it an Indian, a Roadmaster, a Pursuit, a Challenger, a Chieftain? Is it the BMW K1600 or the R1250 RT? The Honda Goldwing? The list goes on. But a few years ago you had more options, whether sports touring or out and out touring motorcycles. Now it's changed. Now the adventure bikes have really sort of taken over, and you kind of get the feeling that these big touring motorcycles, they're kind of going by the wayside, and only, let's say, the traditional ones from Harley-Davidson and Indian and possibly BMW with their R18s, they're the ones of the future. Let us know your thoughts, and I'll catch you on a video coming very soon. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notifications bell for all future videos, and check out the website RevelatorAlf.com for all the latest biking news. There's lots of information going on there right now, especially the new bikes and new information for 2024. And I'll catch you again. Bye now.